Today's guest is Professor Nelsen, who is an accomplished academic and industry leader in sales and marketing, with over 20 years of professional experience and more than a decade of teaching. She holds a bachelor's degree from St. Catherine University, an MBA from Arizona State's W.P. Carey School of Business, and an interdisciplinary PhD from Marquette University. Her research focuses on sales teachings and business ethics, and she previously served as president of the Marketing Educators Association. She is also an advisor for the Sales Scholars Program here at ASU. Stay tuned to learn more about Professor Nelsen. Today's podcast is sponsored by Glow ASU, and this is a message from them. Glow ASU, short for Good Living, Optimal Wellness. Glow is a student-focused wellness brand designed for young adults navigating the chaos of early adulthood. When life feels busy and overwhelming, self-care is often the first thing to fall away. We're here to make it easier to put well-being first. Through thoughtfully curated wellness boxes, Glow ASU helps 18 to 24-year-olds take intentional steps towards caring for themselves without adding stress or decision fatigue. Each box is designed to support different aspects of well-being, offering a simple and accessible way to pause, reset, and reconnect with yourself. Our mission is to help wellness evolve from a trend or one-time purchase into a sustainable habit, supporting young adults in choosing themselves every day. Thank you so much for joining us today. We're so excited to have you on the Prof-ile podcast. If you want to just get started and tell us a little bit about yourself and how you became to be a professor here at ASU.
Wonderful. So, gosh, it's a long story. How much do you want? Since I've been doing this for a long time, but I'm actually an ASU alum, and so I had connections to the university still throughout my career. But what the journey is, basically I did 20-something years in sales and marketing career space, and then decided that I was going to join the academic world. And so when I did that, I started teaching as an adjunct professor, then slowly advanced in how much I was teaching and what I was teaching, and eventually decided to go get my PhD at age 49. So I did that a little later in my career after a pretty healthy career and other things. And then after I got my PhD, ended up at Washington State University, where I brought a sales competition team to the Arizona State competition that we do here for our sales program. And so there is where I met Deetra Montoya, who was able to connect with me. And she goes, I know you're an alum. Would you want to think about ever coming here? And so started thinking about it, started talking about it, and a position opened up, and I jumped at it. So that's kind of the short version of the story.
Yeah, no, that was perfect. Yeah, and obviously the weather was probably a bonus from Washington, Arizona, right?
It is. It definitely was. And the other bonus is that my mother-in-law lives here, so we're able to be close to her and support her as she ages in place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Well, awesome. Thank you. So I guess, where are you from?
Originally, I'm from a small town in Minnesota, Mankato, Minnesota, where my husband's actually from too. But I've lived in 3 states, Minnesota, Arizona, and Washington. And this is my second time back in Arizona. Mm-hmm. So I lived here for 18 years. My kids were born here.
Love that. Were you guys high school sweethearts, or?
He graduated college the week I graduated high school.
Okay.
So he's a few years older than me, but
yeah. Awesome. Love that. So tell us about where you went to school and kind of your education and what you specifically studied.
Yeah, I'm a collector of education. I enjoy learning. I made you do the strength finder for my class, so one of my strengths is that I'm a learner. So constant need to learn and to take in more. So undergraduate degrees were fashion merchandising and speech communications. Wow. I thought I was going to be a PR director for a clothing line. That was what I was thinking I was going to do when I was, going to college. Mm-hmm. Chose to live in Minnesota and Arizona, which isn't exactly the clothing mecca of the world, right? So it didn't really fit that well. However, I did start my career then in kind of the PR space. And, get sidetracked. So those 2 degrees, my company that I worked for, Cox Communications, was generous enough to pay for my MBA to go to ASU. So definitely encourage you to get somebody else to pay for your degree if you can do that. So that was a great experience. Let's see, in there, I also went back after that and got my Associates of Applied Interior Design degree. I ran my own interior design company for about 7 years, which was super fun, mostly residential interior design. And then I went back and got my PhD. So I've done a lot of variety.
Wow. You're like super well-rounded, have all these different...
I follow my whim, whatever the interest is that my education. And I like learning a lot about a little bit about a lot, or a lot about a little bit. I don't know, both.
Yeah, well, now you just have lots of knowledge about all these different areas. That's super cool.
And it randomly comes up.
Yeah, well, I'm sure. I'm sure. Okay, so next question. When did you become a professor at ASU?
Yeah, so this is my 3rd semester. So I've only been here a year, or 4th semester. So I've been here a year and a half, and just loving it. It's going really well.
I love that. What courses do you currently teach?
I teach professional sales and relationship management, which is a junior level course for people that are either getting the sales certificate or who are getting a concentration in professional sales. And then I teach an advanced sales course, which is basically just a jump up from that one, a little bit more role playing and a little bit more complicated course than the other. And then I also teach Essentials of Selling, which is very similar to my professional sales class, but it's designed for non-WP Carey students.
Okay.
So it could be a student who's, right now I have biology student in there. I've got a psychology student, a fashion merch student, construction management student. So a huge variety of students so that they can get exposed to the sales space.
Right. I like that it's not just, limited to just WP Carey students. Like everyone else. I mean, sales is selling yourself in an interview and beyond so many different things. Sometimes on Facebook Marketplace, you're negotiating and stuff like that too. So sales is an essential skill.
It shows up everywhere. And I wasn't an undergraduate business major, so why should we limit it just to business majors?
I love that. Offer it to everyone, right? Yeah. Clearly there's interest too.
Opportunity.
Could you tell me a little bit about kind of what you're researching and all that?
Yeah. So similar to the way I approach education, I get interested in a lot of different topics.
Yes.
It's hard to keep me narrowed. So, but I'd say in general, most of my research focuses on business ethics in some way. Your class actually was involved in one of our research studies that we did, and we're continuing that.
Good.
Deetra and I are working on that. It's a research study on introducing frameworks for business ethics to sales students, and then measuring how they feel about their ability to address an ethical situation when it occurs. And so we're continuing our research in that area, and we did actually make some really good findings from it.
Awesome.
But we're tweaking the research study a little bit to see if we can even improve that more, and how it helps students think about ethical situations. And then I have other research that's also tied to a lot of ethical type pieces. I have a paper that's coming up soon that hopefully will get published.
Ooh,
super excited. One on it's kind of an odd topic, but it's basically companies are getting sued right now because their employees are harassing customers. There's several lawsuits that have occurred out there.
I know about that.
A $4 million lawsuit that occurred in Oregon where somebody was racially profiling a customer in a Walmart, and they lost $4 million because they didn't account for that somehow in that person's training, etc. So what we did was we did a analysis of the codes of ethics and the code of conduct for the United States' top 20 retailers.
Okay.
And found out if they have any mention on how an employee should treat a customer. Most of them did not.
Wow.
Fascinating, right?
Yes.
They have tons of it on how employees should treat each other, and hardly any on how they should treat customers in codes of ethics. So they thought that should just be intuitive. So our study is basically telling, people that they really need to think about putting into words what that behavior is, so that it hopefully prevents lawsuits.
Right. Well, everyone always says, the customer's always right, but what does that actually mean? Beyond that quote. That's very interesting. Yeah. And the ethics, we talked about ethics during one of the classes, and that was really eye-opening, because there are some times where you're faced with, hey, are you going to miss out on the commission check, or are you going to go against your core values?
Core values, exactly.
So that's a really great discussion. I'm glad you're looking into further research for that.
And just know that you're going to experience ethical situations in whatever workplace you're in, no matter what, they will occur, and just try and think about, how do I best prepare myself when that happens?
Absolutely. All right, so outside of academia, what are some of your hobbies and interests?
Yeah, so I still love anything like art related, so that ties to my interior design background and my fashion merchandising background. I'm a visual person, so I do a lot of things that are visually interesting, either artwork myself. I still work on interior design projects because I'm constantly redoing things in the house. It's never good enough. Right. I love gardening. I love art in general, so I'm a member of the Phoenix Art Museum and go there fairly often. Just anything visual.
Very cool. Okay, so now we're going to get into some kind of course and education-based questions. What kind of is your teaching philosophy, and how would you describe your teaching style?
I should have you answer that one.
So I can answer that.
So my teaching philosophy is that we learn by doing. In my classes, I typically introduce Bloom's taxonomy early in the classroom. And what Bloom's taxonomy is all about is the kind of the art of learning. Like, how do you learn? What are lower level learning skills and higher level learning skills? And higher level learning skills are things where you're creating something, you're doing something. And so I do a lot of doing in my classroom. So for example, in the class that you were in, I probably, you had 15 weeks of classes, and you probably did, so that's 30 classes, probably about 24 or 25 of those you did a role play.
Right. Yes, we did.
So very active, so there's usually some sort of lesson, and then I ask you to apply it. Right. In some sort of form. So if it's a negotiation lesson, you try and negotiate with somebody. If it's a lesson on overcoming objections, you work on overcoming objections. If it's a rapport building exercise, it's about, how do I, get to know this person. So I really like introducing a small amount of a project or an idea, and then making you do it.
I love that. Yeah, I can attest to that. Everything was very hands-on and applying that. And I loved that part of it, because I felt like I was practicing those skills and stuff. So yeah, really had a great time in Julie's class. Just a little plug for you. Anyway, so kind of talk about the assignments that students can expect to receive in your course. Are there exams? Is it discussions? You talked about role plays, things like that.
So for the in-person class, there are in-person class discussions that happen along with pulling information from people about how they've done things, that kind of thing. I'm not a huge test-taking person. I don't love them myself. I don't like really giving them. On the Bloom's taxonomy, they're the lower-level learning skills. They're about understanding and remembering, which are important. You have to know the language and that kind of thing. So I typically do those in like small quizzes that are small points related. So they're there, but they're not a huge part of the class. The bigger projects in the class are, let's see, I'm trying to think. There's the one that you took was a Strength Finder paper in which you took the Gallup Strengths Assessment, and then you have to apply it to how it shows up in your life, how it'll show up in your future career, and how you'll sell yourself using your strengths. So talking about how that shows up. You also had to do an interview with a salesperson paper. Where you took all of the class content, used it in an interview with a professional salesperson, and figured out, okay, is this real? Does this actually happen in the real world? How do they use it? And then apply it to classes. So I do a lot of applied learning type papers. in the class. Let's see, other things. I make you go to out-of-class activities like the professional sales club or to the career fair or things like that where you have to practice your
sales
selling
competition,
skills.
That was
sales
one of
competitions,
them too.
yep, that's an option. So things that are that can actually let you practice the skills outside of class. For my advanced sales class, they get to step it up even further, and they have to do a recorded 16-minute role play with a mock buyer.
Wow.
So
you're making me regret that I didn't take this course.
It's a great class. It's a great class. And so it really kind of creates nerves like crazy because you're performing for 16 minutes in a video format and you have to submit it to your professor. So I don't necessarily grade specifically on how they do in the role play, except that they actually did it and they took it seriously and they did their homework and they researched, etc. But I grade more on how they reflect about how they did and how they can improve.
Yes.
So it's more of a reflective exercise type thing. And then for my, let's see, I'm trying to think of any other things that I do in there. I do a client dossier assignment in there where you have to do a deep dive research into a company that you're selling to.
Oh.
So that you understand the social styles of the person that you're selling to, understand the business problems, really kind of deep dive into knowing a client before you talk to them.
That's so important.
Yeah.
All great things. We had some speakers come into
Of
my
course.
course, and that was always fun, and that just opened me up to so many different people in the sales space and ended up getting a job because of that interaction. So there you have it. You can get a job if you take Julie's classes.
It is possible. It has happened. It's actually a goal of mine in many ways.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, so great with that. Okay, so kind of give us some insight on how students can get the most out of your class and what should they walk away, learning.
So the most out of my class, I say the first one, show up. Surprised that's sometimes a challenge. So show up would be the first one, and then second, participate. Be vulnerable, take risks now. It's much better to practice with me in my class than it is to go into a job interview and flop, or to go into an actual job and go, oh, I don't understand how to do that.
Yeah.
What the research shows is that students who have either a certificate or a degree in professional selling basically ramp up in their jobs anywhere from 12 to 18 months quicker than somebody who doesn't have that foundational sales skills. And so what I think I offer is that kind of speeds up the progress so that people can show off when they get into the workplace and actually show that they have some of those skills.
I agree. I mean, I kind of did it backwards. I had the sales internship prior, and then I went into your course. But now I do feel like it's definitely accelerated me for now my full-time role that I'm going into. So super important to kind of have the course concepts.
Just to know what you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, there's still going to be stuff you don't know. But at least it's exposing you to more than you would have without.
Absolutely. Yeah. All right. So what career paths can sales majors pursue after college? Kind of what roles and positions are open? And yeah.
All that career stuff?
Yes.
Yeah. So first of all, I'll say that, and I talked about this in classes, is that I believe sales skills are life skills. That everything you learn in a sales class can apply to any career. So with that said, I'd say the majority of my students end up in like SDR roles, which is sales development representative roles, or account executive roles. So those entry-level sales roles is where a lot of them end up when they start their careers. But with that said, I have former students that are attorneys. I have former students that are doctors. I have former students that are all different type of careers because, as I said, sales skills are life skills. And so if you can communicate to somebody and sell somebody on your ideas, that's a win.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
I'd say the most probably do go into those traditional sales roles, but the world's, there's no limit as to what they can choose to do with those skills.
Yeah. Are there any kind of careers that maybe salespeople don't immediately think of? I mean, you kind of already mentioned that with the doctors and attorneys. I mean, that's a big one where you have to sell them on.
Yeah.
You know,
they're negotiating.
This person is not guilty, right? Yeah,
exactly.
Stuff like that.
And they're researching, they're doing deep dives into what makes somebody think or do things.
Yeah.
So it all applies.
I mean, sales is everywhere.
Very much so. I think the careers that I think people should look at, maybe, and they haven't, is that, or especially for those students who might think, I'm not outgoing enough to do a sales job, or I'm more of an analytical. And there are so many careers in that space that people haven't thought about. So there's people that do customer relationship management, software administration, like, people that run those systems.
Yeah.
There are people that, my son actually is a sales analyst.
Okay.
That's his job. So he basically is a revenue analyst for a company and tells the salespeople where they're performing, where they need to think about adding, what they should be selling to maximize their revenue and the company's revenue. So
that's really neat.
Yeah. So
very cool.
There's so many other sales-related careers that people just don't even think about.
Yeah, I feel like people typically think of, the front-facing car salesman and stuff like that, but it's like, it's so much more beyond that.
Yeah, and you're probably going to run into, in the career that you're looking at, people that are titled like sales engineer or sales enablement. Those are two different areas. So sales engineers are usually the technical people that help in a sales process.
And with the softwares and everything too, yeah.
So that there aren't enough people pursuing that area, in my opinion. And then the sales enablement are the people that teach people to be better salespeople or improve the sales process.
Very cool, yeah. Awesome. Okay, so best advice for students to get the most out of their college experience?
Show up. Show up in all different ways. Show up, actually be in the classroom, make yourself uncomfortable, take risks, volunteer for stuff, do leadership roles that you get a chance to do. Say yes when the professor taps your shoulder for weird things to do, which I've done with you and others. They're like, do I really want to do that? That doesn't sound, that's awkward. But you learn from that experience. So I'd say put yourself out there and take the risks now, better now than when the stakes are higher.
I couldn't agree more. Kind of talking about, you mentioned leadership. Maybe you can speak on kind of your involvement with the Sales Scholars program here at ASU.
Yeah, wonderful. So we have a group on campus that is part of the professional sales program at ASU that is called the Sales Scholars. So it's a group of 20 students, at least that's the number now. It may change and fluctuate year to year, that they apply for this program. We require that students have a 3.0 GPA and have an interest in a sales-related career. So they don't have to commit, and they don't even have to be a sales major or a certificate holder. We have a bioengineering student who's on there. We have a computer information student who's on our sales scholar. So it just has to be people who are interested in pursuing that kind of an area. It doesn't matter what their major is. So this group is an application that occurs, it's actually up right now, and it'll be up through about mid-February. And then we'll be doing our interviews for our finalists for our sales scholars. We have about, I think it's 10 open positions for this.
That's a pretty good amount.
Next semester. Yep, so we have some opportunity to bring on some new scholars. And we'll take anybody so they could be a sophomore through senior, and if they start earlier in their career, they can stay a sales scholar as long as they keep their GPA up and everything during the whole time period. So we have some students, we probably have 8 graduating seniors coming up, and some changes that are happening. So we have some great opportunity for those students. So those group are our competition team. So they go to our sales competitions. We do about 10 a year between the 3 faculty that are in the area. I'm taking students on Thursday to the Oregon State competition.
Oh, wow.
Yep, so I'm taking 4 students to compete.
We're going to
in that.
Nashville.
Yes, we're going to Nashville in April. Abby's going to be on
sweet.
my competition team.
Pretty sweet.
And so we do sales competitions, but then also every Friday we invite one of our partners from our corporations that we partner with for our sales program to come in and do a workshop with our sales scholars. It's about a 60-minute workshop where they do some sort of exercise similar to what we did in our classes, where everything from rapport building to negotiations to interview skills to whatever it is. So it really helps prep those sales scholars even more so than your average student. So it's a great program, and I'm really excited to see where it keeps going.
Yeah, I was going to say, how long has it been around?
As far as I know, I think this is its 8th year. So we're in our 11th year of the program, the sales program at Arizona State, and I think they're about 8 for the sales scholars.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of amazing, really talented students that come out of that program.
There are.
So I'm friends with a lot of them too.
Yeah, good group.
Wish I would have found out about it sooner.
So,
but
yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah. Think about it earlier.
Yeah. Apply now. That's your takeaway. Apply now. Okay, so I guess this is kind of the wrap-up question, and then we had some rapid-fire fun ones. But what is the most rewarding part about being a WP Carey professor?
Oh, I think there's a couple things that are really rewarding. I'd say the first for me is being able to see students go from not really understanding how sales skills fit into their life or what a salesperson really does, to having like that light bulb moment. It's like, okay, I'm not just pushing product at somebody, I'm actually solving a problem.
Right.
I'm actually serving other people, and I totally believe that sales is a helping profession, right? And we're not necessarily taught that from the way media portrays a salesperson. Of course,
yep.
And so I love seeing when people go, okay, I can embrace this idea. It's not a pushy, it's a helping profession.
Right.
So I love that part. And I'd say the second one is when I see somebody who either gets a job or who comes back after they're in a job for a while and says, it's going great, I'm good at this, right? And that just excites me.
Yeah, that's a great answer. Well, is there anything else?
I think we're good. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, we do have the rapid fire
excellent
questions. I think you saw those maybe on the... you
did.
did circle them already. Okay, so are you ready?
Sure.
Okay, coffee or tea?
Coffee always.
Always. Window or aisle seat?
I like aisle.
Yeah. Me too. Musical theater or concert?
That one was tougher, but concerts wins. But I also used to perform in musical theater, so it's,
There you go. You got a little love for both of them. Friends or Seinfeld?
Seinfeld wins, just a little more snarky.
Yeah. Pepsi or Coke?
Coke. Always Coke.
Always Coke. Me too. We're both Diet Coke?
No.
Really?
Never anything diet. I hate that taste. I hate
yeah.
any artificial sweetener. That's just the grossest thing
Well,
ever.
good for you. See, my mom and I are hooked on the Diet Coke, so we're going to have all these weird fake stuff in our body. But whatever. It's good to me. Anyway, hot dog or hamburger?
Hamburger, I think.
Ice cream in a cup or a cone?
Cup.
Talk or listen?
Listen.
History or science?
History.
Podcasts or books?
Podcasts.
Save or spend?
Save.
Nice. Awesome. Well, yeah, that's all we had for you. Thank you so much for joining us, and we really appreciated learning more about you, your classes, education, and everything. So we appreciate it.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thanks. If there are any professors that you want to see next on the Profile podcast, please DM us on Instagram or drop a comment below. We would love to have them on next.